Howdy, and welcome back. I'm Steven, and this is FWP Reviews. Today, we're going to be doing an FWP Essential episode on 1917. No, this video is not going to be in one take. I wish I could do that. You might call the war movie genre, I don't know, popular. There are war movies that focus on artful retellings of stories. There are war movies that focus on the real horror and graphic violence that war puts forth. And of course, there's ones that do both. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite artful war movies. 1917 is an essential movie to me, as you might have been able to tell by the title. It tells the tale of two soldiers traveling across enemy lines to try to stop an attack that is almost certainly a trap. It is shot in a way that simulates a one long take for the movie, and it happens in real time. Sam Mendes is in to direct, and Roger fucking Deakins is in for cinematography. Their duo is a part of what really makes this movie work. With that, let's just get into it. The filmmaking in this movie is a part of what makes it shine. The continuous shot is executed extremely well in this movie. In this movie, it doesn't feel like a gimmick and more what cohesively weaves the story together from start to finish. It's not just the continuous shot that's impressive, it's all of the technical work that goes in from the director, the cinematographer, and all the other set workers to make this continuous shot something special. I figured this movie would be better split up into moments in the movie and why I think that they are effective. I will go in chronological order, and there will probably be some spoilers, so you've been warned. This movie starts with a trudge through the trench, and I think this is one of the more informative parts of the movie. It shows what trench life was like for these soldiers in the polished sort of way this movie goes about everything. The walkthrough really sets this movie into motion, and the banter really announces the intention of the movie. One of the most effective parts of this movie is the trudge through no man's land. It shows the conditions created by the war as the war rages on seemingly continuously. This scene shows the devastation that is being left on the land, but it makes you imagine what is happening to the men that were in that land or near that land. The way we see the camera move through the elevation of the holes created by the mortar shells is also really effective. The scene with the plane crash is not the highlight of the movie for me, but it serves an effective purpose. The initial thought you have as you're watching the movie is that the call to action is to go save Blake's brother. In actuality, we see that Schofield is really our main protagonist, and his call to action is to find Blake's brother after Blake tragically dies. I found this to be an interesting reversal because it keeps you on your toes even though we're already a little bit into the movie. We meander through decent and well thought out scenes between here and what I deem to be the peak of the movie. After Schofield has now been knocked out on the stairs for an indiscernible amount of time, he returns to the ruined city and night has fallen. This scene and portion of the movie is what really cements this one shot as beautiful piece of art. The move through the city as we see the flares going up and over the city and lighting different parts of the city is just raw and untamed beauty. This is by far one of the best looking scenes I have ever seen in a movie. He then finds himself hiding with a mother who's trying to ride out the fighting. This moment serves as a moment of reflection in a way for Schofield, and also it serves as the final push for what seems like a hopeless mission at this point. The run-up to the end of the movie is filled with solid moments after this. The most iconic of these is obviously Schofield's run through the trench and onto the battlefield. Reading what went into this scene as well as seeing it unfold on screen was absolutely incredible. In the closing scene, we see Schofield finally able to rest against a lone tree in the landscape. We see him finally rest as he has completed his daunting mission to the best of his ability. A final note that's not related to any specific scene. The music in this movie is astounding. It really effectively captures the tone of different moments in the movie. I think the two peaks of the music were during the night scene when we're seeing the flares go off, or the other might be the return of the awesome trailer song in the form of a solo singing thing right before the battle is about to be fought. All of these moments and the music made for a more enjoyable experience. It's like watching art move on a screen. This movie is argued to be a lot stronger on the filmmaking front than the thematic front. I think this is true to an extent. The smaller role the themes play, combined with the heavy emphasis on filmmaking, create for something relatively unique. All war movies at least a little bit, are about the horrors of war. This movie was a lot less grand in scale in terms of the battles and the fighting. However, it was gritty. It followed one man most of the time. It was really about the lone soldier traveling through a war-torn landscape and the reflection that brings upon the viewer as well as the characters. In terms of the horrors of war, this movie focuses on two things in a way. It focuses on violent and unforeseen death as well as wasted youth. I found this to be a very effective execution of these themes, although they took a smaller role in the movie. Why is this movie essential? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, as you might have guessed. I think the main and most noteworthy one is this. The way that this movie just feels like a painting in motion. It relies on and effectively uses visual storytelling to convey its themes and its narrative. Most of the dialogue is really just banter between comrades, and the very little that isn't is just a little bit we need to push the story forward. Other than that, this movie is propelled forward by its cinematography and the one-shot nature of it, as well as its music. It comments effectively on a lot of things and makes the viewer feel around every corner. Yet for a war movie, it is incredibly softly spoken. It has a splendor to it that is unlike many movies I have ever seen. That is why 1917 is an essential movie and why I deem it an FWP Essential. With that, I'll wrap this video up. 1917 is incredible and I highly recommend it. This probably isn't my favorite war movie, but it's definitely one of them. What's your favorite war movie and why? Comment below or DM my Instagram at FWPReviews100 and let's have a little bit of a conversation about what makes a great war movie. Next week will be my first video about 2021 movies. Every month I'm going to have a summary of the movies that I watched that came out in 2021 during that month. My plan currently is to talk at least a little bit about all of the movies I saw. That may change in the future, but this episode will definitely include all of the movies I saw in January that came out this year. I'm excited to bring more content about 2021 movies to this channel, as I feel that's something I was lacking a little bit. With that, this is FWP Reviews signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.